progress. The presentation will now start. My name is Dewey. I am active on the Spooky2 Rife for Life forum and provide people with assistance and guidance and mentoring as well on that forum. I've been a Spooky2 user now for a little over 3.5 years. And prior to doing Spooky, I was doing zapping, and I'm now exclusively using Spooky every single day, taking into account that I was very skeptical about anything to do with Rife at all a certain number of years ago. That's a big change for me personally. But this is all still, you know, we have to regard this as being an experimental thing rather than necessarily pushing a big, massive red invisible button somewhere on the internet that like makes all our problems go away. It's not like that. It's a process of healing and a journey of healing that we go on to, in my opinion, when we start with this technology. But today's subject is about the Spooky2 kits, what the kits are about and how they can help you, what's in them and which one to choose when contemplating what's wrong with you as a person and how you want to try and make that well. You know, what's wrong with your body, what's wrong with, you know, your energy system. And here we go, because I was very overwhelmed when I first came across the subject of Spooky2 itself. And just put some windows around. So this is what we're doing today. We are covering the subject of which kit to choose. I don't know whether you feel overwhelmed, whether you've had a look at the website and you thought, OMG, you know, what am I supposed to do here? What particular machines, what particular peripherals are right for me? Because I was like that myself. But we'll hopefully put a lot of that thinking to rest, and we'll help you to gain some insight and understanding about this. Okay, firstly, the differences amongst the Spooky2 kits. So that'll be what goes into them. So that's all of the things you can use to explore, experiment, treat, and so on and so forth. And also, when you're starting out, what you should be starting out with, take into account where you're coming from in your journey of wellness, in your journey of understanding, in your journey of studying it. And then we'll move on to a written question and answer session. And also, we'll be open, both myself and Penny, to be able to answer your questions about what you prefer and what's right for you and how we should go about it, and hopefully putting all of your anxieties and fears and pains and worries aside so you can make a rational and intelligent choice. So let's start from the very beginning. What are the differences amongst the kits? When we're talking about a kit, we're talking about a selection of components which are sold as being one thing. I mean, in the old days of radio, there would be a radio set, which would be various different components, the receiver, the amplifier, and so on and so forth, and you'll put it together to create the radio of your dreams, basically. And what we have here is something similar, but using the electronic technology of Spooky2 to create for yourself essentially the Rife system of your dreams, which you can expand or reduce with the passage of time, depending upon what your needs are. But let's start off with the differences between the two kits. Firstly, we're going to have a look at the XM kits. The XM is the smaller blue generator, which has different key functions about it. It operates at a certain frequency. It goes up to 5 megahertz. It doesn't go up to the 40 that the GeneratorX does. We can get onto that later. If you look on the left-hand side of the screen, what you have there is a very good basic starting place. Some people just go there and they don't do anything else. Other people go there and then expand. I'm the kind of person who has expanded and has felt the need to with the passage of time. But the portable starter kit, as you can see, it contains first and foremost the generator, XM generator. There's something called the boost, which is important because it combines the two outputs of the generator into one singular output for the purposes of remote contacts, work, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, there's the remote, which you can use when you're not physically able to be contacted to the generator via the contact kit, namely the contact cable and the TENS pads. Okay. It also contains the cold laser twin, which is great for issues of the nose and of the ears. and also can be used also on the skin, and also the cold laser wrist, which can also be used for laser blood purification. The stainless steel hand cylinders, which are for your contact work in the traditional manner, very similar to using a zapper. And the pulse units, which is there for basic biofeedback based upon the beating of the heart and how the body is reacting to frequency. Yes, you will have access to the recording. Now, with the Portable Essentials kit, you're essentially getting a little bit more. You're getting 2 generators with 2 boosts and 2 remotes. And there is a rationale to have more generators, because it means you can have one thing going on remote whilst you're doing something else on contact with another generator. Or you can have 2 things going on remote simultaneously to tackle more issues. One key example is the provision of detox on one generator and pathogen killing on another. But it depends upon where you are and how your research and experimentation has taken you as to what it is you require. All the rest of the other things in the XM Generator Portable Essentials kit is pretty much the same as the Spooky2 Portable Starter Kit. If you wanted to start out with a starter kit, you could, and then just buy yourself another generator, boost and remote, and then you've upgraded essentially. So you don't have to start big, you can start small and work up. Or indeed, if you're dealing with something more complex and you want to start off at a higher level so that you can hit the ground running, then essentially you can go for the Portable Essential Kit. Okay? Now, when we're going on to the GeneratorX kits, the GeneratorX is the silver colored generator, which has 2 frequency generators built into it. Okay, so instead of having 2 separate XM generators, you buy one singular GeneratorX, which works at higher frequencies, can do its own biofeedback without the need for a pulse device, and it is faster biofeedback as well. And is an all-round good choice, really. With the Portable GeneratorX Essential Kit, you get the generator. You get the 2 boosts because you've got 2 generators on it, and you get 2 remotes. So you can have one generator with 2 remote programs going simultaneously. Okay? As well as all the contact accessories of the TENS cable, TENS pads, the hand cylinders, and also the cold laser devices, which is there, for the blood, for the nose, for the ears, and also can be used on skin and a few other surface-related things for the body. PEMF coil, sample digitizer, and sample digitizer replacement slides, because you will need to replace them, as well as, of course, a cool portable case and bags to keep everything in. That's a good choice. Full stop, finito, the end. End of argument, okay? Moving up even further than that, we've then got the Portable Central GeneratorX kit. This is where we're moving on to the use of plasma technology using Spooky Central. And Spooky Central itself is a powerful plasma device which has other peripherals, which enables the energy of the plasma tube to get deeper into the body, to do more effective work, and therefore it's a very effective thing. So if you're dealing with something very serious and you want to try and get quick results, and you want to make sure that the pathogen killing you're doing is really, really powerful from the get-go, then it would be worthwhile thinking about the Portable Central GeneratorX kit. Okay? You get the Spooky Central with power supply. You get the Fanatron plasma tube, which is the rounds plasma tube. Okay, you get the straight tube. The round tube is used for more targeted work, usually. The straight tube provides a more diverse, a more diffuse field. It can cover more of the body, but it might not be quite as intense and targeted. It will then provide you with one XM generator and the GeneratorX. Okay, So therefore you'll end up with 3 generators all in one go. Okay. So now let's have a look at the 2 separate generators we've just discussed. You've got the blue generator and you got the silver generator. They work in essentially in different ways, especially when we're looking at the subject of biofeedback. Biofeedback is a useful discipline and a useful skill to get yourself used to when using Spooky2 and Rife technology, because it helps you to identify with a certain level of precision the frequencies that your body actually requires in order to control pathogenic load and to therefore increase wellness. The XM generator, it does its biofeedback with the pulse. Now the pulse unit either clips onto your finger or it can clip onto your ear, and it measures the pulse and it reads pulse variations, and from that it deduces which of the frequencies of the scan are right for you. GeneratorX is fast. The shortest scan you can do is about 7 or 8 minutes. That's called the fast scan. And it can also scan using remote technology as well. And is pretty interesting and amazing and very precise with its biofeedback figures. The frequency range of the XM generator goes from 0 to 5 megahertz, 5 million cycles a second. The GeneratorX goes from 0 to 40 megahertz, that's 40 million cycles per second. Both can do a wide variety of waveforms, but you get more frequency range, more precision, and more digital technology to get yourself precisely to the frequencies that you want when doing biofeedback when you're using GeneratorX as opposed to the XM. The pulse scans are slow, 60 to 70 minutes. The GeneratorX scans a lot less. Okay, you can do even a grade scan in just a couple of minutes. We can possibly talk about that later if you wish. The XM generator has no standalone mode. You run it off your laptop or off your computer. The software on your Windows-based computer will run your XM generator with all the programs and all the biofeedbacks and everything on it. The GeneratorX, you can actually load 30 separate programs into it and run it without a computer. So I've even heard stories of people having a power adapter in their car and plugging their GeneratorX into that and just running programs on both of the generators in the GeneratorX whilst they're driving along using the remotes, because they're powering us off the 12-volt socket in the car. Although I don't know how that should be done because I haven't tried it myself. But essentially, you can run things without having to have the computer with you. Quite interesting, quite beneficial and practical. You can't do things such as frequency wobbling or feathering on standalone mode. You're still getting the frequencies, which means you can still run the actual frequency sets that's right for you. It's good. Now, the power output, the number of outputs there are for the XM generator and the GeneratorX is 2 separate outputs for the XM generator, which we normally combine together with the boost to create a singular output. And there's 4 outputs on the GeneratorX, which we would normally connect together using the boost to make 2 outputs, 1 for each generator. Okay? Now here's a big question. Why have multiple generators, and why are multiple generators suggested for certain diseases? For me personally, I just started off with 2 XM generators, but because of the complexities of my health and the things which I needed to achieve in order to try and bring about better wellness, I felt the need for more. So I then got 2 more XM generators. I then got GeneratorX, and I then upgraded with getting Central and Scalar, and I've also got another 4 XM generators on order because I'm aware of more things that my body requires. You don't have to do that necessarily. It's up to you and how you've learned and what your body requires. But with multiple generators, you can use the remotes and run different programs at the same time. Okay? There are many different pathogens involved in a serious disease, so one generator is not always enough. If we have 4 generators, we can use one for healing, one for killing, one for organ support, and one for pain relief. And there are some conditions that require that. If you're unfamiliar with the protocols, then I would strongly advise you to download the software and play with it in test mode and read some of the PDFs which explain that there are some conditions which people, experimentally use more generators for a protocol to try and help themselves out. Another rationale for having more than one generator is for healing and rejuvenation. One Rife generator can be running various detoxification frequency sets, while the other is running a broad range of Rife frequencies. Okay, so you can have detoxification as well as killing. You can have detox maintenance as well as something to specifically target a particular issue. Now, this image here is not necessarily what you personally have to have. I get the understanding that this is probably taken from a clinic which is using this stuff all the time. But the fact of the matter is, all of these generators you're seeing here can be through USB extender bars, all attached to the same computer. And the same computer, the same laptop, can run all of it simultaneously if required. All right, so it depends upon how much you either want or need to experiment and to explore as how many extra XM generators or how many extra GeneratorXs you get yourself. Okay? So now it's a question of providing you with some perspective between Scalar and Spooky Central, because people are often, okay, I'll come to your questions in just a moment, all right, and then we'll hold a conversation. Okay, so between Spooky2 Scalar and Spooky2 Central with the plasma tube, what are these things for? If you look on the left-hand side of the screen where it says Spooky2 Scalar and go right down to the bottom of the screen, it says easy to use and good at healing. The energy which comes from the Scalar unit is dramatically different to the energy which comes from the plasma unit, because the plasma tube provides very good killing and entrainment energy. All right, very good for things like candida. I've tried that myself. Very good for that. Very good for molds, funguses, yeast, and so on and so forth. And as it says here, this is the only machine we know of that can transmit frequencies of up to 3.5 megahertz without needing to waste energy, potentially harmful fixed carrier frequencies. Okay? So you need to apply the right frequency, which you can do with the help of your biofeedback, either with GeneratorX or with the XM generator, using the pulse, and GeneratorX without needing to use a pulse, and then deliver those via plasma for the purposes of pathogen control. Spooky2 Scalar, you can sleep in the Scalar field every single night for ages and ages and ages, and it will just carry on doing you some good. You can apply Rife frequencies to the Spooky2 Scalar unit and provide an extra message, an extra bit of information for the body, but its main use appears to be for healing and tissue repair, as well as general wellness and vitality and building the immune system, so it is said, which can then help you in the journey towards well-being. So you can use both. I've heard stories about people using plasma when they're in the Scalar field, as well as using contact treatments when they're in the Scalar field too. And I've had some experience of doing that as well. You don't always need to, but it depends upon what it is you're trying to achieve and which one is essentially best for you right now. You can see the image on the bottom left-hand side of the screen is what the Scalar unit looks like. And on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, you got an image of the Spooky2 Central with both the straight and the Fanatron tubes. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you can see we've got a wonderful young lady who is essentially receiving the Scalar. the boxes are set up, the boxes are tuned, and then you sit, stand, or lie between the two boxes. And then you receive the scalar healing energy, which helps to provide that extra, bioelectricity, bioenergy, which gives the body the ability to go through extra therapeutic, extra wellness, extra healing, extra immune system support, and so on and so forth. As well as being useful for putting molecular energy from the coils on the boxes into the field, which can then be felt in operation. And on the right-hand side, what we got there is Spooky Central with the round tube, so you can see it in scale, and it's all set up so you can see roughly what the setup would be for Spooky2 Central. Okay, so you've got scalar on the left, plasma on the right. Right, now we're at the point of, okay, what should I go for and why? Let's say you haven't got any equipment at all. You're thinking about your needs. You're thinking about getting into Rife. You don't understand where you should be starting from. You might even have some questions about Rife itself and whether it's the right thing for you. So let's have a look at this. This little graphic essentially shows it's either your thought bubble or it's your brain. You know, I report, you decide, if you get my drift. So we suggest the Spooky2 portable starter kit. It's great for doing body system detox, boosting energy, killing mold and insects, because we also have the ability to use the remotes as a means of environmental pest control. You may also use this kit to treat colds, diabetes, insomnia, migraine, and anxiety. So there's quite a few common ailments which people, experiment to attempt to deal something with using just the portable starter kit. So that's something's worthwhile thinking about. If you're sitting there thinking, I'm not going to go for anything today, well, maybe even have a look at the starter kit. But if you want to get 2 generators, such as the Spooky2 portable essential kit, is more for if you're interested in using Rife as a means of helping out your doctor to treat your chronic problems or severe conditions. Okay, obviously with any health condition, I'd always recommend you go to the doctors anyway and make sure you're getting yourself looked after properly. But also sometimes we need to think outside the box. That's all I'd say. Now, if you want to do the fast scan, go for GeneratorX, because GeneratorX is fast. So I say I can do like different scans on different parts of the body in 7 minutes per body part, left leg, right leg, abdomen. And also it's even got the high frequency scans as well, which do take longer, about 20 something minutes, if I remember rightly. And was it 20 minutes or 40 minutes? I can't remember. And that can actually really highlight things that really need some extra work. It's also a good thing to take a look at. And your grade scans, whereby you're scanning through the existing frequency sets to find the ones which is most relevant to you, so you can create for yourself a more targeted frequency set for a targeted problem, is very fast indeed using GeneratorX. Okay. If you've got chronic or severe conditions, and if your budget is enough, you might want to go for Spooky2 Central GeneratorX kit, because that will provide you with all the functionality of GeneratorX plus the Spooky2 Central, which is awesome in terms of its killing power against pathogens and is a very, very good system. But if your goal here is to strengthen your immune system, so your whole body has more energy to fight your disease or to rebuild itself, it is suggested you choose Spooky2 Scalar. So think about what your goals are here. Think about what the kits themselves offer you. Think about our suggestions, and then essentially make your choice, make your mind up, and then you'll be starting on probably the greatest journey of learning that you could ever go through, in my humble, limited opinion. Okay. Right, now, what if you've been using Spooky for a while? You've got a selection of generators. What do you want to do now? If you want to do fast scans and run programs without a computer, you can just add a Spooky2 sample digitizer to your GeneratorX remote kit. Okay, you can get the colloidal silver kit, so you can use XM generators or GeneratorX in order to make colloidal silver yourself using the silver wires and the right frequencies, and there's a calculator which you can use which will provide you with the right duration for how long to leave it so you can get the right concentration by taking into account the weight of water you've used. So this shows you the versatility of the Spooky2 system, the fact you can use your generators in this way. If you want to add more remote functionality, then you can just get plenty of XM generator remote kits. That's essentially what I'm doing. I've got another 4 of these on the way to me soon. You can also get yourself a single generator kit just to help yourself out just with the plasma system. Okay. And then, of course, Scalar is there to strengthen your own healing system, your bodily healing system. And it's very, very simple. All you have to do is turn it on, tune it. If you're using things like frankincense oil and so on and so forth, you can place them on the receiver coil, then lie between the 2 boxes, sit between the 2 boxes, work between the 2 boxes, whatever it is you have to do, and you'll get the benefits of the treatment. Okay, so this is that's like the end of the body of today's presentation. Now we can go through the written question and answer session prior to going into questions and answer questions from yourself, so I can sit here and answer them for you. Okay, firstly, what kind of laptop or computer do I need to run Spooky2? So long as it's a Windows-based system, you'll be okay. I just got myself a cheap refurb laptop off eBay for about £60, and that just did the job perfectly. It was on XP, and I just carried on updating the software on it, just using a zip drive. Download that from my work computer, and then take that to my laptop and transfer Spooky onto it. And that's pretty much good enough. Can I use my Apple Mac to run Spooky? Yeah, theoretically. You need Boot Camp. Create a Windows partition and buy virtualization software. So that makes it a little more fiddly. All right. The more layers of abstraction you add to any system, the more likely it is that problems will arise. Okay. The more complex you make it, then the more difficult it'll be. So cheap Windows notebook, or a used desktop model if you haven't already got a Windows-based computer at home. Many of us do have Windows computers, so you should be all right. You can use the same computer you use to work. The software is very small and quick and easy, and it's good. Does Spooky2 Rife machine work with 240 volt AC, like for us in the UK? You'll get the mains transformers that you need, so it'll work on everything. Okay, not a problem. What method of payment do we accept? Well, what Spooky2 accepts is PayPal, credit card, debit card, Western Union, MoneyGram, bank transfer. So most of us pay using our credit or debit cards via their PayPal link. No need to worry. An estimated delivery time. Okay, normally it takes 24 hours to proceed with the order. Then 2 to 5 working days in shipping. Shipments can take longer to arrive depending upon customs practices in the receiving country. The shortest duration it took for a Spooky2 order to come to me in the UK, this was before Brexit admittedly, was 4 working days. So I placed the order on Monday and I received it on Friday. That was incredible. I don't know how long it's going to take after Brexit with all the various different issues going on in the UK right now. I don't know. Do we need to pay duty when we receive it? Generally, buyers do need to pay duty if they order from another country. However, we can help lower the declared value to reduce custom duty. So it might not necessarily be an issue, but expect that there might be a couple of quid here and there you'll have to pay. You have 30 calendar days to return an item from the date you received it, not from the date you ordered it. To be eligible for a return, merchandise must be in excellent condition with all the part accessories and original packaging. So you don't want to smash it with a sledgehammer and then try and return it. You know, just use your common sense. Just use your common sense there. Once you've received your item, we'll inspect it and process your refund. Okay, so it could take 5 to 10 business days for a refund, but it's pretty standard practice, okay? Shipping and restocking 50% of the item price, which will be deducted from the refund. Okay, and these are the places where you can get this wonderful thing. Spooky2.com, Spooky2-mal.com, Spooky2Scalar.com, our Facebook group where you can interact with me if you see fit, if that makes you happy. Spooky2 Rife for Life. You can contact customer service at support@spooky2mal.com. And if you want to find out more, you can contact Sama at spooky2-mal.com as well. Right, now we've had lots of questions coming in the chat. Now I think it's the time when we can start having a look at the questions in the chat and take it one step at a time from that. Okay, so the first question, right, there we go. Can you put 2 different people's DNA into one remote DNA holder? Yes, so long as they are separated. So let's say it's your fingernail clipping. Wrap it in a piece of paper tape, like masking tape or a paper label you would normally use for your inkjet printer. Okay, so the 2 are separated. They're not touching. Then shove them in. You can get as much as 50. Some people say you can get as much as 50 into the remote itself, which is like, you know, it'll take organization to do it. But you in theory can do it. So long as the remote closes properly, you haven't got like so many pieces of paper sticking out the side that it's like wide open. It's got to close properly. How come the results from biofeedback scan differ each time? Your body is dynamic. There's things moving around in your digestive system all the time. Your digestive system is moving all the time. The problems in your body is changing. Your metabolism is moving up and down. Okay, so different things will come to the surface with each scan you do. That's why it's quite important to do regular scans and treating on those scans, because the scans themselves show up. It's like if you ran a shop, and on Tuesday you want to do a stock take. So you do a stock take at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on that Tuesday, and then you've got all the stock you've got in the shop on that time. Then hey presto, it's 2:30, and some things have been bought and sold. So the things inside the shop will be different. Okay. And also the positioning of your TENS pads on your abdomen or on your wrist or your posture will be different. If you're breathing differently, there'll be extra things going on inside you as a person, which is going to affect the results somehow. So it's complicated. There's an awful lot going on inside the body. So but you still have to do those scans to try and work out what frequencies, what numbers you need. Okay, it's been a bit of a conversation about remotes there. No, we don't recommend you use 2 remotes with 1 generator, because you've got to have the right quantity of energy and power going to the scalar coils inside the generator, inside the remote, in order to make sure you get the results for it. If you dilute that, then although you'll be getting something happening, it won't necessarily be enough to do the damn job. And you've got to make sure it is enough to do the job. Okay? Right, when it comes to Spooky2 Scalar, Although some people have experimented with doing remote and putting their DNA samples on the transmitter coil, I don't know whether people have yet decided that this is a definitive way of doing it. So I don't think that using Scalar in that way is necessarily effective. So if you want to treat with the Scalar box, then you sit between the two boxes, because that's essentially what it's designed for. It's designed for you to lie between the two boxes and to receive treatment from between the two boxes. How often to perform scans? Depends what's wrong with you and depends upon what resolution you require. Many people only do scans once a week or twice a week. Some would try and do it every day, depending upon how bad their body is, and what they want to do is to like get an accurate picture today, what's wrong with me, so that I can cut down the pathogens which scream the loudest. Okay, because if it's coming up in a scan, it's one of those things which screams the loudest. It's got like the strongest signal, and therefore it needs a bit of extra work done on it. And you use your scanning capabilities to focus in on what's then and there, and then you do your treatment. Okay. Which product does not require a computer? They all, to a certain extent, require a computer, because the computer operates the generator and the generator operates the peripherals. The peripherals being either your contact, your remote, your cold laser, and of course Spooky2 Scalar and Spooky Central. So the computer is always used, but the GeneratorX, which is the silver generator, can be loaded up with frequency sets from your computer, which is then stored on the generator. So you don't have to have the generator plugged into the computer to run the frequency sets which you've loaded onto it, which for some applications makes it a more convenient option. Okay, depending upon what it is you're trying to achieve at the time, and also how convenient it is to use it, because Spooky is trying to create ways in which it becomes easier to use the technology, and that's why we've got the ability to use it offline if necessary. How often do you need to repeat a treatment? Okay, well obviously I'm not a doctor. I can't really tell you 100% what you should or shouldn't be doing now. What I do for my candida, my mold, my yeast, my funguses, my pathogens beginning with P, which are the co-infections which go along with my candida and all the rest of it, I am treating every single day. When I'm not directly taking treatments from contact or plasma, then I've got remotes going. I've got, at the moment, 4 remotes are going for me at the moment right now for various different things. Okay. For cancer prevention, again, I'm not a doctor. A suggestion, which would be different to a recommendation, okay, would be to start off just doing Scalar and running pure Scalar overnight. It doesn't need a generator, and it's just like healthy wellness stuff. Okay. But if you're concerned about the possibility of getting it, then it might be worthwhile researching the PDF within the software, within the cancer folder in the software, which you can download that software for free from spooky2.com or from spooky2-mail.com for free. Okay, download it, run it in test mode, and then you can have a look and see in the various different folders for cancer and Morgellons and Lyme what those protocols are and how many generators are actually required in order to run it. If you've got Spooky2 remote and contact, you need the pulse. So you got the blue generator. Okay, blue generator, you need the pulse unit. And if you've got the pulse units and you've got TENS pads and you've got the TENS cable, then you're set up to do biofeedback. You just need to understand the software operation for biofeedback, and then you're rocking and rolling. It's worthwhile going to spooky2videos.com to learn more about some of the ways in which these things are done, and then you'll get some inspiration, creative inspiration as to how to do it all together. Okay. For remote mode, you can run that 24 hours a day. Yeah, you do. You run it for 24 hours a day, maximum frequency chain of 4 hours. Okay. Can you use Spooky2 on pets? Yes. I think that there is actually a group on Facebook for people to talk and discuss about how to write for pets. And there's plenty of stories of dogs and cats being treated with plasma and Scalar, as well as remotes in order to try and help them out. Okay. And also like sample digitizer work being done on their saliva. So yeah, you can use Spooky2 on pets. Working it out logistically and keeping your pet still, that's on you. Okay. Yeah, when I take my cat to the vet, I often end up with blood loss. Can remote be run on patients while they're active? No. Remote you just leave running. I've got my remotes going over there in another room, and I can be going all over the city and doing my shopping and talking to you guys and this, that, and the other. It doesn't matter. You just let that go. I could be traveling to the other side of the world. My remotes will still be going and providing a signal to my DNA, to me. Okay, so just be active. You don't have to be resting. Go with the flow. Go wherever you want. But essentially, remote is a milder treatment. Okay, so you need to use remotes to fill in the gap and trickle feed your energy fields with the information. When you're not taking your contact treatment, right wrist, left ankle, when you're not receiving your plasma, okay, that's when you have your remotes going. But there are some things you'll just want to keep some remote healing going on all the time because you can't do, let's say, all the rest of it, all the rest of the killing and healing whilst you're doing other forms of killing and healing with your contact and your plasma sessions. Is there consumables that would be wise to buy more of? In my opinion, an extra couple of boosts would be a good thing. The remotes are quite small. The remote units are quite small. You can tread on them. Okay, you might want to have an extra couple of those just in case. TENS cables, yes, but you change up your TENS pads quite regularly. I mean, one pair of TENS pads is about a week's worth of usage, roughly speaking. So you always need to be buying more TENS pads on the basis that you're a contact Rife user. Okay, as I say, I'm not a specialist in cancer. I actually feel quite anxious when discussing the subject of cancer because I don't know enough. My feeling would be to first and foremost read the the DB cancer protocol within the software and see whether that actually suits you and then actually work on that. It might be worthwhile investing in both plasma and Scalar if you can. Plasma to do the killing, Scalar to do the healing as well. It might be worthwhile looking into the, I think there's a cancer graded protocol. I know there's a Morgellons and Lyme graded protocol. I think somewhere there is a cancer graded protocol with a cancer graded tool. And it might be worthwhile looking into that. If the cancer is localized, the Phanatron round bulb is the best. If it's more general, like in the blood or whatever, then you might want to use the straight tube because that will do more surface area. But if there's one particular location, then get in there with the round tube because that's got the plates which angle the signal straight to where it's needed. Yeah, you can. That's what the software is there for. There is a bit in the software which you can use to type in, create program it's called. You can type in your frequencies and type in your dwell time. The dwell time is how many seconds it's going to be on that frequency. Okay, and then you can experiment with it that way. Explain the process. All right, this is what I was doing for myself earlier on, so let's close that down. So top left. Okay, top left. Create program. There we go. Give it name. Frequencies. 417, 586, 231, whatever. Dwell time. And then there's a bottom, top right. Are you sure you want to save and exit? Yeah, I want to save and exit. So that's it. That's a very basic program created. Okay, does that make sense? Could you please explain a little bit more about grade scan? Right. Grade scanning is when you are asking your own body what are the top frequencies out of a selection of frequency sets that you are wanting to focus on. So let's say I don't have time to run a 4-hour frequency set when I come home from work. I've got enough time to run a 1-hour frequency set before I go to bed, let's say, hypothetically. So I want a 1-hour frequency set. At a dwell time of 180 seconds, being 3 minutes, that means 20 frequencies. The frequencies sets for, let's say, candida albicans, mold, fungus, and all the rest of that, I can then all put together in one chunk, so to speak, and I can tell the software I want to do a grade scan on that to get the top 20 frequencies. Because let's say I don't know whether it is the candida albicans, the mold, the fungus, the yeast, or the this, that, and the other, and the other, and this, that, and the other, which is part of my fungal problem at the moment. I just want to get the top 20, and then I want to treat with that and hope for the best, okay? That's essentially what grade scan does. The top 20 ones, which are the most effective for you. If you want to be really clever, what you do is when you've got your top 20 frequencies, you save it. And then you do another scan through something called refine programs on GeneratorX software in the Spooky2 software. Or something called optimize scan when using the XM pulse scanning system. Because that will return to you after a lengthy scan the precise down to 2 or 3 decimal places accurate frequencies for that thing you're scanning for. So not just the whole numbers that you see on in the frequency list, the precise down to decimal places. Which means, therefore, if you're attacking, let's say, candida, you end up with much more of a precise, targeted, like sniper rifle attack on those top 20 frequencies that you're interested in. Okay? So it takes time to prepare, it takes a bit of organization, but if you're really feeling like kicking this thing to the curb for a night, then that's something worthwhile having a look at. And I've had some fun experiences doing that myself, so it's worthwhile thinking about. Is it okay to use your end products with people with EHS, electrohypersensitivity? That depends upon them. Okay, it might be worthwhile introducing them to it gently with something like remotes and seeing how they react. And then if they're comfortable with that, then go on to contact with the smaller, the regular size TENS pads and see if that helps them. And then go on to just try it bit by bit. But also the electrosensitivity can have numerous causes, including like all manner of infection, some people say. So maybe just increasing the general wellness in the body is a way of fighting the EHS, electrohypersensitivity. Again, using electrical equipment, but sounds counterproductive. But we have to accept the fact that using rifing is like a kind of like an experimental art form. Okay, it's not necessarily a hard and fast thing. I've seen some people say I've done this, that, and the other, and I got wonderful results. I've seen other people say I had to do it differently. So we have to learn from how our own bodies are reacting. We've got things like the protocols and Morgellons and Lyme and cancer and all the rest of that. But we also have to look at it and study it and work out what it's trying to tell us and work out what our body is trying to tell us when we're using it. The only thing I would say is if you want to do the terrain protocol via contacts, make sure that for those 16 days you're not going to go to that many parties, because if you end up with a massive detoxification of your, of your bowels, when you're using your guest toilets, your host toilets, it can be a bit embarrassing. So think about your social calendar. Okay. Can you please explain the use of the USB hub with multiple generators? Okay. Right. I have a laptop. It has 2 USB ports, one of which is taken up with a mouse. So I don't want to take the mouse out. So I've only got 1 more USB port. But I want 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 generators on it. How do I do that? You buy a USB hub. You plug it into the USB, which means you'll have another 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, whatever USB sockets, which your computer will now recognize. Then you just plug your generators in, and when you go onto the control tab, they will all appear there when you boot up your software. Nick, how has it helped you using Spooky2 for you? I've experienced all kinds of stuff, including the passing of funguses and molds and yeast, and just killing off yeast in my chest, and then I still got some way to go. All right, because I entered this journey very, very, very sickly, but I'm still progressing in terms of my well-being, and I'm using this as my alternative health protocol. I would be a heck of a lot more physically sickly at this time of life if I hadn't made this decision 3.5 years ago of taking Spooky2 seriously. I learned it. I had to find out about the electrical therapy, so I started off with zapping, and things happen with zapping. Interesting things. And then I found a frequency-based zapper, and I explored that, and things happened with it. And that taught me that there's something in this, and that was enough justification for me to buy my first 2 XM generators. Okay, my first 2 XM generator essential kit, which is like the 2 generator portable kit these days. Can we explore the software without the generator? Yes, it's been designed that way. You can explore the software without the generator. If you download the software, you can use it in this like test mode. So the little window will pop up saying, oh no, Spooky2 can't find any generators. So you can just say like, no, on that, click the no button. I think it's either no or cancel. I think it's the no button. And then, hey presto, your Spooky2 will come up and you can look at it. And what's so cool about that is you can go to the programs tab and you can type in nearly anything. And all kinds of cool stuff will turn up and you'll think, ooh. All right, it's like interesting. Okay, the difference between the sample digitizer and the remote and the finger clip. The sample digitizer digitizes the sample. If you get a boil and there's pus in it, you can put that in the sample digitizer and then get GeneratorX to work out the numbers, the frequency numbers of what's required to try and deal with what's in the pus. Okay, that's what sample digitizer is there for. It digitizes the sample. The remote is a remote. It is a remote healing device. It's there to deliver the frequencies that you're generating via the generator into the DNA sample, and thus to deliver the meaning of it to your body wherever you are on the face of the planet Earth. And the finger clip is a device for monitoring your heart rate when doing the XM pulse biofeedback scan. The difference between running a scan and doing a treatment. Doing a treatment is when you're taking your frequency numbers, whether it's from an existing frequency set or whether it's the results of your biofeedback, and treating your body with it. That's doing a treatment. But there is also the process of doing a scan, which is when you are trying to ask your body what numbers are right for you right now. Does that make sense? Okay. So I may have confused you with the way in which I explained it. I do apologize for that. Okay. Do we have any more questions? From my own personal experience, this is like being one of the best things for me as a chronic fatigue sufferer with candida and yeast and mold and funguses and that sort of stuff. So go for it, simply.